Am I dying? I think I'm dying. I don't want to die.
All I can say is help me, God, help me, God.
The gun violence crisis now led to more tragedy
More
this
violence
afternoon.
in the city of Philadelphia
Police there
tonight.
investigating a shooting that left
Multiple
3 young
shootings,
people
including
dead.
a teenager.
What are your thoughts about will I come home tonight? Do you ever think about that?
You don't know what it is to be a young black man in Philadelphia unless you walk in those shoes.
I don't sit in parked cars. Too many guys get sprayed up like in the car.
I can't count how many times I've seen a black man take his last breath.
Before the trigger's pulled, 1,001 thoughts go through their head. Say no, no, no. Yes, do it. No, no.
Selling drugs, that's synonymous with guns.
2 teens are dead after they were shot on North 56th Street.
An 18-year-old man is shot tonight. The epidemic of gun violence that police are trying to get
Gun violence is not the issue. It's a symptom of many, many issues.
That look in his face said trauma, undealt with trauma.
If we're taught that to be men, we gotta be violent, and we're taught that violence is normal, and then we live in a country that has all these guns, then we're creating a recipe for a violence epidemic, a gun violence epidemic.
The city is on pace to surpass last year's homicide.
I'm a black man in a crazy society, right? Not only did y'all shoot me, but now I gotta survive the rest of my life.
This pain don't never ever go away until you dead. And we need help. We need help. We need to be talking to somebody.
For many years, I was part of the problem in my community.
You know, you lose that hope, and then when you find it with a vengeance.
Today, I'm blessed to be part of the solution.
So the best way to deal with hate is to deal with it in love and turn it around.
A lot of them don't know that word till someone comes to them and say, look, I believe in you. I want to see you succeed, and I love you enough to want to see you 20 years from now.
And we're back, and thank you all for staying with us, and hopefully we're able to enjoy and be empowered and inspired by the closing of our film Trigger. We definitely want to see your comments and your thoughts and perspectives in the chat, so please feel free to put your thoughts and comments in the chat. We definitely want to know what you thought about this film Trigger, which, as we said in the beginning, really was a labor of love. We also will be putting resources in the chat as well that you can access in your community, so we'll look out for those. And if you have a question or two, we'll get to those in 1 second. Once again, we're back with our colleague and feature storyteller, our good friend, Chuck Horton. Prior to going back to the film, Chuck, we were talking about your journey and what happened when you were 17, and again, going over 30 years now, being in the chair, then of course with the organization. A question that often comes up is just self-care, right? Like, what is your self-care process, your self-care, regimen, your self-care? What do you do on moments where things do get difficult, things do get tough, things do get a bit unmanageable?
One of the things I think is most therapeutic is writing, purging, journaling. And when I say you journal, you have to journal your true feelings. You can't just like candy coat it. I say put down dirty, raw, just get it all out. Say the things that you have to say and just put it out. But the other side of it is don't read it. After you write it, don't read it, because you become judgmental of your words, and some of the things that you may say is like, I feel guilty for saying that. But if those are your true feelings in that moment, and you need to get it out, let your truth be its truth, and let it purge. Because sometimes when we walk around and we move around in life trying to be this fake person, trying to be an actor in our own life, and that's detrimental to your mental health. Get it out. Just be okay being okay with what you say and how you feel. And when you don't do that, you're dying a little bit inside every day. You have to get out what you really feel, and you just have to let it go, and be okay with letting it go, and be okay with saying those words and those phrases and those things that might not be so PC, and let it be PC in your words and in your journal. You know what I mean? Because nobody have access to it, and sometimes I write in code that if you picked up my journal and you read it, you're like, I don't know what he's talking about, and that's a good thing because it ain't none of your business.
There you go. There you go. One thing that I always like to make sure that we do is also, through the good times and the bad and everything in between, provide just like a sober analysis around just, I think, the realities. I think for sometimes some of our young people, some of our community members who are engaging in the gunplay in our neighborhoods and our streets for any number of reasons, as we know, sometimes they don't know the full gravity, right? The full weight of the consequence of this. So if you could take us, what are those things that people may not know about what it means to be in a wheelchair? What are those things that you have to navigate? What are those things that you have to think about every day, every morning, every afternoon, and as you go about your day? What are those things that we should, all be informed about?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't realize that. I just tell you the judgmental eyes is the most devastating thing. That when you go into a room, and like I said in the film, I'm 6'2". I've been 6'2". I'm 6'5" now, but just imagine at 16 years old being 6'2" and accepted in so many different ways, and popular and all those different things, and then just the changing of it all of a sudden, and now you have to think about where you're going to go if there's steps there. It cannot get into a place where all of my friends are having a good time, and then you get there and it's just like, I'm gonna tell you, you wake up some days and I must keep it as truthful as it is.
Please.
Some days I wake up and I just be like, I don't feel like this wheelchair shit today. I really don't. I don't feel like people looking at me crazy. I don't feel like having spasms every time I go over a bump, or having to get up 2 or 3 hours earlier than other people because my body won't allow me to just get up and get dressed and showered and get out into the world, because I wake up stiff. I wake up, my body not wanting to listen to me, so I'm having spasms and all these other things that go on. Where a lot of times I tell people, it's like, you do this gun stuff, and a lot of these young people think I'm going to die. But I was like, what if you don't die? What if you live post this? I've had one of my guys in the group, him and his friends playing with guns. His friend shot him in the neck, paralyzed him from the neck down. He was vent dependent at, I think he was 18, and just died recently because of complications of being on that vent. Now, he lost his life young, but now his friend who shot him, who was his buddy, his best friend, now have to live with the fact that I killed my best friend. It's not that I shot him and I didn't mean to do it, but my best friend just died. I had him all this time and he forgave me. He's gone. I cannot forgive myself that I just did this to my homie. And sometimes people just don't accept you. I've had people who, it's funny that they'll see me somewhere and they don't see the chair. And everything is cool. Then when they see the chair, it's like, it's the recoil. It's like you were one of us. You were all right. Now your face is good. It's a lot to deal with when you see that in people's eyes, and you know that's what they're thinking. You know that's what they're. You know it. You can't You know it. And it tears you up. So just imagine you had this path in life and it was good. Then you had this tragedy. And it's just like you living with it every day. And it's almost like you go out to this world and people look at you in certain ways and they judge you in certain ways. And it's like a slow death over and over again. That some people don't find that strength to keep going out. And it's hard to go out in this world where people just like don't accept you. And I know people who don't go out, don't leave home, haven't left home for years because of the just not being accepted anymore. And I'm talking about people who are young.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we appreciate you sharing that. As we begin to close, I just want to give you a couple words. If there's anything else that we haven't shared, anything that's on your heart that you want to let people know today about the work that you do, or just about your experiences, or even just how we can continue to work to stop gun violence. The floor is yours.
So I'm gonna tell you that we have guns out here in this world. Okay, they're here. I don't see them going anywhere, especially in the United States. Gun safety is very important. If you have guns in your home, teach your young people that's in your home that's with that gun how what you see in the movies and what you see on TV is not real. You have to educate them up on this is not a toy. This is a thing that kills, maims, and destroys when you put it in someone's hands. That's what it does. It doesn't. It's not. It's not cool. It's not whatever. Because when you pull that trigger, you own everything that comes out of it, and what it does, and what devastation it does to someone and someone's family. So when you put that finger, and you use that 4 or 5 pounds of pressure to pull that trigger, your life post that pull of that trigger can forever be changed. And that change could be you're killing your best friend, you're killing your kid, you're killing your spouse by mistake, or you're killing yourself because now you're going to live the rest of your life in prison. Or when you killed your friends or your family, you have to deal with the devastation of, I just did this to somebody I love, and I've taken them from this earth, and I have to live with this forever, as long as I'm here. So you have to have these conversations around guns. And the conversation is not just how can we get rid of all of them, but the conversations that they're here. And now that they're here and they're in our world, they're in our homes, they're around us, how can we have a constructive conversation to say, we're going to protect the ones who are around us, and we're going to show them that we have to do something that we have to make sure that everybody's safe. That's it. It's just, you just gotta, they're here, but you gotta have a pure conversation to say, we have to protect the ones around us.
Yeah. Well, that's a good word, Chuck. I think that's a great word. Thank you so much, as always, Chuck, for joining us for these panel discussions, and thank you very much for your clarity and for your insight, Chuck. Thanks so much. And thank everybody again for joining us this evening for tonight's screening of Trigger. I really want to thank everyone on behalf of the Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Services, or DBHIDS. I want to thank our colleagues over at First Person Arts. And I also want to thank our folks over at the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission for being so valuable with this partnership, not only here at Delaware County, but all over the Commonwealth, doing phenomenal work to positively impact our communities. So thank you again to the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commissioner, certainly for E.D. Lassiter, Chad Dion Lassiter. So once again, folks, you can follow us again. Continue to look out for upcoming programs and events. And as always, if you are in a crisis 24/7 and you do need help or assistance, medical assistance, you can always dial or text 988. That is the new medical crisis and suicide prevention lifeline, 988. So we're all familiar with 911. Please access 988 24/7 to receive help in your community for yourself and for your loved ones. So thank you very much. Everybody be well, be safe, and be kind to each other. Thank you.